The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the Department of Health and Human Services is going to soon release a report suggesting that pregnant women's use of Tylenol might be linked to autism. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has yet to confirm whether or not this is the case, but we are going to get into it in a moment. Take a listen to what he said so far.
As soon as we have enough information to give to the public with confidence, we are going to do that. But anything that happens, any speculation about what's in those reports at this point is speculative.
Dr. Franziska Haydanek, who is an OBGYN, joins me now to discuss. So, doctor, let's get right to the point. Is there any known link between autism and Tylenol?
So I think it's really important to think about what the word link is when we're using it in science. A link is an association, but an association is not causation. So there are studies out there that show that there is an association between the use of Tylenol in pregnancy and neurodevelopmental disorders like autism and ADHD. But none of these studies show that Tylenol causes these issues. And that's why it's so important that we continue to listen to those words of link and association. And remember, very importantly, that this does not mean that it causes those problems.
So what would explain the potential link between the two? And what would the problem be with going a step further, as the Wall Street Journal is reporting, and actually stating, the government stating, that there is this potential causation?
So we have to think about why pregnant patients will be taking Tylenol. Sometimes they have a fever. So is it the Tylenol use that is causing these issues, or is it the actual fever that the Tylenol was used for? Same with pains that patients have that the Tylenol is used for. Is that underlying condition that is causing pain maybe responsible for those changes, or is it the Tylenol? And it's really hard to know that in the research that we do. The type of studies that are done mostly on pregnant patients don't do those kind of studies where you can say it causes it. And that's why it can be problematic if we say there's an association without saying that there's an actual cause from Tylenol causing these neurodevelopmental disorders.
So what do you currently recommend to your patients who are pregnant when it comes to Tylenol use? And is that going to change if the health secretary publicizes this link?
So I always recommend to my patients that we use Tylenol as indicated. So we shouldn't just be taking Tylenol for no reason. We should always start with non-pharmaceutical issues first. How do we get a fever to come down? How do we manage pain with non-medications? And then we move on to Tylenol, because we know that there are benefits. And especially in situations of pain or a fever, those benefits are going to go outweigh those risks. I'm not going to change how I use Tylenol for my pregnant patients. It's still a judicious use of this medication. And until I can see the studies where it shows that Tylenol causes these neurodevelopmental disorders, I'm not going to change how I prescribe Tylenol.
Do you have more patients coming in to see you with questions about vaccines, with concerns about vaccines, given that the health secretary is a skeptic when it comes to some very prominent vaccines and, and maybe stirring up some fears and concerns?
I think what we're more seeing currently is patients being concerned that they won't have access to those vaccinations. If the vaccinations are no longer recommended by the CDC, some insurance companies will no longer pay for it. And so that's mostly what I'm seeing, is my patients are concerned that they won't have access to it, mostly for financial reasons, less so based on the discussions that he's having.
Some really great insights, Doctor. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Franziska Haydanek. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.